How's it going? I'm Andrew with Investors Hub, and today we're going to be talking with Stefania Barbaglio. She's the founder and CEO of Cassiopeia Services, which is an investor relations firm and a PR firm, among other things. And they've done some work with Investors Hub, which is how I made contact with them. And she's going to be sharing her insights on the fashion industry, some publicly traded companies in that sphere. And, as a caveat, she called us yesterday, so we had the interview on March 9th. She contacted me yesterday evening to share that she has, in fact, bought some shares in the company Real. Whenever we did the interview, she hadn't, but she told me she basically talked herself into it. Please note that our videos are not designed to be direct investing advice. We're here to gather the perspective of different investors. Our channel and our content should just be one stop on the journey of trying to find out where to put your money. So, Stefania, you've been following some companies in the reseller market. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Right. First of all, thank you so much for having me today. And yes, so I like to describe myself as a fashionista. So I like to see how the fashion market is evolving, and obviously fashion and luxury investment, luxury item is definitely, as I said, a place of investment, and there are some interesting stock out there. But what really caught my attention, particularly with the COVID, is this company, they are actually entering the billion-dollar market of second-hand appeal, because the market is now estimated at around $28 billion and is basically will more than double to around $64 billion by 2024. So if you see, those are big numbers really, and it's definitely a space to watch. Now, I'm going to mention two companies. One is going to go for a listing, so there is no point to talk too much about it, but it's still interesting to see how the space is evolving. So first of all, Real. So they are all listed on the US stock exchange. Real, Poshmark, ThredUp is going to come for the listing, and those are, the second-hand company that I've been watching. They had a really interesting, particularly Real, a really interesting growth, let's call it that way, from April 2020, when obviously there was the big market crash and all the stock, they collapsed. I think Real reached around $5, and then it went up to over 40, so almost 40. So a very, very big increase. And then it kind of calmed down, and we are now just trading just above $20. So which is actually the price of when they IPO in 2019. Right. What I like about Real is the fact they are the world's largest online marketplace for authenticated and consigned luxury goods. Obviously, is based on store. So their main operation, they are in store, and also they are based in the US. So they don't have actually an international footprint. But they are entering basically this market where handbags, jewelry become investment. As we see in recession, people are trying to diversify their investment, and definitely this is a very, very interesting market. Now, I think they probably had too much of a nice time just post-COVID, let's say like that. And then obviously with the lockdown and the stores that have been closed, the supply also to be a little bit fragmented, because obviously the take rate of the garments, the accessories is the key driver of their revenue. And because of the lockdown, some people, they were scared, to drop off and stuff like that. Then there is obviously the challenge of authentication, which again is another challenge. But the good thing is that they actually learn from COVID, and they push on some neighborhood shops. So what they've been doing, they've been diversifying their strategy, so they will be able to not rely only on the flagship store, but actually offer a different network to reach out to community, right? So I think this strategy is the strategy of the company is quite interesting, and also obviously they have got plan to go internationally in 2022. I think we are at a good point where we should see where the share price is going to go, and maybe it could be a good time to buy back in. This is my take on Real.
So you also shared with me some interesting developments in the fashion world with regards to fashion and AI. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Right. So AI is obviously, big technology that is catching up with all the industries, as obviously in fashion. This can be quite useful, particularly helping people to kind of match the style they like. And mainly when they are shopping online. This is why, we probably see fantastic, say, performance of these e-commerce place and one platform, and one of them is Stitch Fix. So Stitch Fix is another company listed in the US, which had an amazing run, trading above $100 and reaching a market cap of, it was over 8 billion, something crazy. What they offer is they offer data-driven personalization services where they kind of help you to match the style that you like. And I think the brands that you like. So obviously you put up your details, your profile, and then you get some help during your shopping online. So this with the lockdown and most of people shopping actually happening on the internet has driven Stitch Fix share price to the roof. Now they recently report the outlook for 2021, which was not so great, and the share price just collapsed. So I think it's around $49. So I think now it might be a good time to see how far the share price is going to fall and potentially buy back in the company, because definitely AI is a fantastic technology. And also the tendency to buy online is something that is gonna be here to stay. It's not that the lockdown stop and people, they won't shop online anymore. This is a change in behavior that is gonna stay. So I'm quite positive on what they are doing. I think it's got lots of value, and there is the opportunity also for the company to partner with with brands, to establish some really key collaboration also worldwide. So I think they are a very interesting company. So I will keep a close eye to where the share price is going to go, and probably try to get in.
So lastly, there was another company that you were telling me about that almost feels maybe like a synthesis between the previous two that you mentioned. That was sort of being a social media marketplace for clothing and fashion. Talk to us about that.
Exactly. So this was one of the IPO in January this year. There was a very well-received IPO because the share price went through the roof when they listed. So they listed at 42, and he actually went over 100. So that was really, really well received. The thing about them is compared to a Real, they actually don't own inventory, but what they do, they are an online fashion marketplace based on social media, so where people can actually sell clothing, beauty items. They also so it's kind of a mix between social media and e-commerce. They've been around since 2011, 2012. So they had some time, to basically develop this kind of connection with social media and increasing their community. The very interesting things about them is that because obviously the leverage on the social media engagement, they get a lot of users to come on the website and spend around 27 minutes a day. So that is quite a lot. The thing is, what needs to find out is actually how many of these people coming to the website, which are, I think the platform consists of around 70 million users, how many they are actually going to buy and how many are going to sell. So how many are going to become active users. And that is an interesting point, because in the document for the IPO, they actually don't mention this data. And I think this is quite an important element. Because if you think about it, they are basically having the revenue are growing 20%. This is the last number that we have got. The revenue are growing 20%, right? When the active users conversion is 40%. So this makes people a little bit worried, because how we don't have any retention numbers, and the growing revenue are less than a half of the rate of the active users. So people are concerned, what is going to be actually the business performance over the next years? Also, one of the very interesting things is that the average price of the sell items is quite low. So it's $33. Right, we are not talking luxury good like real. We are talking more like an average item. And the margins are very low unless there are big volumes. So if there are big volume of sales, then obviously the company it can generate lots of profit. But I think with those margins is quite risky, and I think that's maybe why the share price has fallen. So it's trading around $50, and I'm not really sure how sustainable is going to be their business. It might be that actually the COVID gave them a very good opportunity to come to the market, but there are some fundamentals they are not really clear, and particularly these retention numbers for the users.
So do you have any final thoughts on the fashion industry as we hopefully exit COVID restrictions and all those things?
Yeah, so I really think that sustainability, circular economy is something that is going to become a key highlight of the fashion industry, because the new generation is more interested in being sustainable, how to increase the life of items, and also in the investment in fashion is picking up a lot. So I'm really thinking this is a part of the fashion industry that is going to get lots of traction, and maybe the big brands now, they are not looking in the second-hand market, but they will be looking very soon. So when you are looking at those players, for example, Real, then there is Vestiaire Collective, obviously is not listed, but they recently raised an immense amount of money, right? Then we have ThredUp is going to come out with another listing as well. We have got Poshmark. So you see the market is start to get populated. And that is interesting. On the other side, right, we need to see the profitability of those companies, right, and how they can generate revenue, and making sure their cost is not going to be more than what they can actually generate, because, it's all about infrastructure as well, dealing with the supply chain, the authentication process, the marketing. This build up lots of cost, right? And I think one of the key challenges for those business is actually how operationally effective they can actually be. And I think definitely this is a challenge, is a new space, and is something really interesting for, brave investors to look into.
Any disclosures that you would like to make? Like, do you have any positions in the companies that you mentioned?
No, but I should have bought in Ria really when it was 5. I like, I was looking at it and I said, gosh, this is really cool. But, there was a collapse on all the stock, and, you just, maybe it's not the right time. So then you shoot it up. So I forgot, but I'm actually looking at Real. I would like to see them a little bit more active online. I don't think the technology they haven't integrated or married with the technology yet, and I think this is something that is missing in the business. So I think there is plenty of room for them to grow. I quite like the CEO. She's a very strong, driven, powerful woman. So I think that Stitch Fix, I'm just going to see, because it might fall another 30%. Poshmark, no, it will have to go down below the IPO price to really catch my attention. But I will be looking for the ThredUp listing and then see if something else comes from Europe.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you liked the video, and I'll see you again soon.